Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hi everybody, how you doing? Your girl is running super late today. If this is your first time joining me, give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications, baby, and we gonna get right on into it as we usually do. I know my boy Brandon popped through to say some things. So he says, I'm seeing Smurfs this week. Then 2 weeks later, Bad Guys 2. And then he says he's excited for Gumball to come back. And I said, I'll see you soon. Instittute, I'm trying to run out of here and have some summer hot girl summer holiday fun. So we're going to get right into it, shall we? I said that we were going to be talking about Shark Week. Oops. We're going to be talking about Shark Week. We're also going to get into um, there's a Stephen King book called The Instittute, and now it's coming to MGM Plus in a whole full on series. We're going to talk about Eddington, starring Pedro Pascal, Joaquin Phoenix, and Michael Ward, and Luke Grimes, Emma Stone, Austin Butler. And then we're going to get into a little Jaws 50, that not the one that's on Peacock, but the documentary that's streaming over on NatGeo. But I always tell y'all what I did the week before. So the week before, I went to the Zombies 4 premiere, which is now streaming on the Disney Channel. If you didn't catch my coverage about Zombies 4, please hop yourself on over to my YouTube channel and check that out if you're not already there right now. And while I was there, I ran into my baby, Roshan, who played my son on Shake It Up. I was Marcy Blue on Shake It Up, and Roshan played my son. And then I hopped on over to Fox 11 LA to welcome Marla Tellez back and was hanging out with my boy Alex Michelson again, where we talked about Superman, some stuff to do at the Getty Villa here in LA, and of course, Jaws, Shark Week, Jaws 50. All right, let's get into Jaws 50, shall we? So, Shark Week officially begins from July 20th through the 26th, right? And what it is that on the Discovery Channel, they air and stream on Discovery. Let me come back on so that y'all can see my beautiful face and see what I'm talking about. All right. So what happens during Shark Week is that on the Discovery Channel every year, it's like a summer thing. It's like a real kitschy kind of summer thing. And on the Discovery Channel and Discovery Plus, they have a week-long event that features a variety of shark-themed documentaries and programs. And this year's lineup includes Dancing with the Sharks, Air Jaws, The Hunt for Colossus, Great White Assassins, among other things. But I want to get into Jaws 50, The Inside Story, which is a documentary streaming on NatGeo, directed by my friend Laurent Bouzereau, who also did a documentary last year, which is streaming on Disney Plus, about John Williams, who does all of the music for Steven Spielberg's films. Jaws 50, The Inside Story, is now streaming on Hulu, and it's the funny thing about it is that there's a couple of things you want to know. Jaws was nominated for 4 Oscars, but Steven Spielberg got none of them. He was shocked that he didn't get a nomination, but he said he would have voted for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest too if he was in that situation. So he was not salty about it. The film was shot in Martha's Vineyard, which is now a really popular summer vacation spot. It was 100 days over schedule. It was famous for the diva shark, and sometimes she would work, sometimes she would not, and the off-screen feud between Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. So if you are at home and just chilling and trying to find something to do, check out Jaws at 50, The Inside Story, that is streaming right now on Hulu, and pop over to Discovery and Discovery Plus to check out all the stuff that is happening for Discovery Shark Week, which has already begun, which will begin, on July 20th, and it runs through the 26th. And again, Jaws 50, the definitive Inside Story, my bad. It's been streaming on National Geographic since July 10th, but it is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. Now, let's talk a little bit about this film, Eddington. Eddington is a crazy movie, crazy. And it stars Michael Ward, who you guys, if you didn't see that film called Empire of Light with Olivia Colman, Michael Ward was the star of that film alongside Olivia. And like I said, it also stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and some other people. But it's directed by Ari Aster. And if you're not familiar with Ari Aster is the not the documentarian, filmmaker behind films like Hereditary, Beau is Afraid, and Midsummer. Like his genre is like horror, thriller, sci-fi, like that's his jam. And in this film, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a standoff between a small town sheriff and a mayor sparks some drama as neighbors are pitted against each other in Eddington, New Mexico. So critics are calling this film everything from Astor's most divisive film to self-indulgent filmmaking. This is what I feel about Eddington. Eddington is a very direct cinematic statement on class and power and how they can each be abusive if not checked. That's my take on Eddington. Joaquin Phoenix is crazy as usual, but he is a brilliant actor, so he gets passed. Pedro Pascal is a little calmer than we're used to seeing him and a little more grounded, and he's actually the straight man for this film. There's a split-second cameo for Austin Butler where he's kind of looking like Jesus. That's Austin, looking like Jesus. Isn't that hilarious? And then Emma Stone she takes the character that she plays, Louise, who could have been a very one-note performance, and made her interestingly complicated and riveting to watch. And Michael Ward is there for the sole purpose of handling a race storyline from the Black perspective and being that person blamed for a crime simply based on his skin color. There's an indigenous storyline, an indigenous people storyline of how white men who have stole their land, that's a known fact, but abuse the right to dwell someplace where you were never wanted in the first place, and yet still try to get over with shenanigans time and time again. I don't want to go too much into it because it's a lot to absorb in that movie, and it's crazy. In short, it's a wild, crazy ride that will make you think about leaving. It'll make you think. It'll just make you think, and it'll leave you going, you know how they say things that make you go, This is one of them things that'll make you go, But without further ado, I asked Michael and his co-star about if they remembered where they were during the pandemic, and this is what they had to say. This film was a trip because it took me right back to like that early time of COVID where we didn't really know quite what was happening and what we needed to do or not to do. So since this film takes place during that time, I was curious to know, what was the beginning of COVID like for the two of you? Do you even remember what it was like for you?
Yeah, my wife and I had just gotten married, and we'd moved from Los Angeles to Austin, Texas. And we were there for 2 months when COVID hit, so we didn't know anyone, and it was a very strange, to be in a brand new place and no way to make friends or anything like that. Was kind of, oh, it's okay, we were fine. no sad face.
We were fine, it's all good.
Yeah, and I just remember the kind of, the fear of that time, of the unknown, of what is this, this is unprecedented, it's never happened, and going to the grocery store and seeing it sort of empty and wondering how long that was going to last. And yeah, that first sort of month of lockdown, how just sort of scared we all were, because we had no idea what was about to happen.
It was a weird point, actually. So I just came back from LA for the first time. I felt like my career was taking off, and then we had to stop. But I ruptured my Achilles as I got back to London. And then lockdown was like 3 days later. So I was like, if there's ever a time to be injured for a long period of time, it's now, because no one could go anywhere. Yeah. And actually, my mum and everyone had to stay in the house, so everyone could do stuff for me. So I was living like a king.
Oh Lord,
so
that
my
is
experience
hilarious.
was, it was. So I never got to actually see the shopping malls and stuff like that, and get to see places very empty because I couldn't leave the house. I could just about get a bath. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was kind of lucky with my injury at that moment in time, because I'd never been injured before as well. But yeah, super annoying, because you know I felt like my career at the time was really like moving, and then we had to just all stop anyway.
That's all right. What's for you is for you, and what ain't. So
That's what's up.
it was time for you to have that Achilles at that perfect moment in time, so you
Yes,
could take
ma'am.
the proper time to heal and not miss
Yup.
any opportunities that were going to come your way.
Exactly.
Look, I know you have a musical background, right? What kind of title would you give to a song to describe your character in Eddington?
Oh man, that's a good question. I didn't see that one coming. Man, that's great. Probably. Did I do okay? That would be the name of the song. I feel like Guy's a bit of a like Labrador retriever, and the fact that he's just trying to do the right thing and has no clue what it is, you know. So, his whole arc in this movie is just kind of trying to prove himself to Joe and not really doing a great job at that.
I love that. Did I do okay? All right. Okay, Luke, you got me on that one. Michael, is somebody in the film, both of you are in law enforcement, but is somebody who particularly has known Joe for a really long time. What was it like for you as this character to find out that this person turned out not to be who you thought they were? And did you ever have an experience in your real life where that was the case, where you took somebody for one thing and then they kind of flipped the script on you and became and turned out to be somebody that you didn't think they were?
To play Michael, I think it was very heartbreaking. Not even just doing the scene, but like actually watching it back. You're just like, raw, this young man really looks up to this guy and really admires him and really respects him, and you know he would never expect him to do something like this, and you know he'd always expect him to believe in him. So to see that trust be broken, it was just heartbreaking to see for myself. So like, you know, that I feel like for me that was one of a powerful scene that I was involved in. And in terms of my own life, there's nothing that I can think of at the top of my head. To be honest with you, I feel like I've been blessed with like good friends, good family. So yeah, like I haven't got to experience that yet.
That's a beautiful thing. Be glad that you haven't, and I pray that you never ever have to experience that in your lifetime. Y'all, that is my time. This was a beautiful short conversation, but thank you. I appreciate you making time for me, and congratulations on Eddington.
Thank you
so much.
Bless, man.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
That was fabulous, wasn't it? Again, you guys, Eddington is an A24 film directed by Ari Aster. It is in theaters right now if you want to check it out. The Instittute. Let's talk about her. That's the Stephen King joint I was telling you about. It's based on one of his books, which was published in 2019. It stars Mary Louise Parker as Mrs. Sigsby, the diabolical head of the Institute, and a bunch of other people. But anyway, The Institute is a TV series based on that novel. It is hitting MGM Plus today. And the story centers around Luke Ellis, a 12-year-old with psychic abilities who is kidnapped and taken to a brutalist-style compound in the Maine woods. There he meets other children who were mysteriously also abducted and possess telekinetic, telepathic powers. And this is what they have to say about that series, which I said is streaming on MGM Plus right now. Hey, how y'all doing?
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Let me tell you something. This show was really wild for me because it kind of it was like the Stephen King version of like The Living Dead meets The Handmaid's Tale meets Carrie. Like it was all of that stuff happening all in one film. But what I want to find out from you guys is, what was the very first time you either read a Stephen King book or saw a Stephen King film? And I'll start with Ben first.
I'm not a massive horror genre consumer. I don't like the creepy ones. The sort of, I've seen Carrie and I've seen, what was your favorite one?
Misery.
I've seen those ones, but they creep me out. What I love is when he kind of bends the genres for in terms of like Stand By Me is a movie I probably was introduced to very early on, but Shawshank Redemption was always the one that stood out in my mind. You know, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman in that was just stories about hope and humanity are always things that are going to kind of catch me. And The Running Man was another one, but it was probably Stand By Me or Shawshank that was my first introduction to Stephen King, the films, and then I got into the books later in life.
Okay, you're a hardcore Stephen King fan. I can see that.
Ma'am.
Okay, all right. How about you, my dear?
Yeah, I think it was Stand By Me. I
Yeah.
think it was like 10 or so years ago. I think I probably first watched that, and yeah, because obviously I wouldn't have, because I would have been pretty young, because I remember watching Stand By Me pretty young, and I didn't know anything about Stephen King at that point, but I didn't know what ride I was in for, the amount of work that he has both on paper and on camera, you know.
There was a quote that somebody said about, I think it was Mary Louise Parker's character, something about saving the world. So if you had the ability, what would you do to save the world? Because we in dire straits right now.
I mean, I think storytelling is a big part of it. It's something that we've always kind of done, and if you look, like I said about hope and humanity in Stephen King's work, like you look through the work, it's about, you know, in this story particularly kids, but the vulnerable, you know, as a sort of allegory for the vulnerable in systems of authority that, you know, remain unchecked, and people just go about kind of abusing their power to kind of facilitate the things that they want, you know, that they want, and to retain kind of power over other people and to keep people down. And I think, you know, sharing stories about that is just as important as going on marches, and just as important as you know, posting about things that you care about, or I think that people fight injustice in different ways, and some of those ways are louder and some are quieter, but it doesn't make them any less kind of powerful. And I think sharing stories about doing the right thing is a very important thing to teach generations as we go forward in life.
Did you want to add anything to that, Jill, before we dip out?
No, I don't. I mean, I think it's just I don't know how to say that. That's probably why I'm an actor. I have no idea what to
Me
do.
neither, bro.
That's quite all right. Well, it's my time. I wanted to just tell you, Joe, you remind me so much of a really young Lucas Hedges, and that says volumes, because I think he's brilliant, and I
Thank you
think
so
you were both
much.
brilliant in this project. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for giving me your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
yours.
brother.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Again, you guys, check out the Institute, which is streaming right now on MGM Plus. Now, I know a bunch of y'all have been waiting for this one. You waiting for me to talk about it, and I'm about to get into it. What? Superman, baby. Superman is directed by James Gunn. It is in theaters right now. It stars David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. Rachel is playing Lois Lane. David, of course, is Superman. We got a bunch of people, including Wendell Pierce, that's in it. Nathan Fillion is the Green Lantern. But baby, Lois and my boy Crypto, they steal the show. Oh, yes, they do. So let me come back on and talk about it. So Superman has been getting a lot of flack this week. There, you know, I heard James Gunn in an interview say that he felt like it was an immigrant story. And when I heard him say that, I thought, oh, that is exactly what it is. Superman is somebody who came from Krypton to Earth, somebody who came from someplace else to a place that he's not familiar with, that isn't his home, and he's trying to assimilate and fit in. And then because he's different, he's ostracized, he's outcast, is all of the things, right? But what Superman really does at the core is it reminds you of what kindness in the guise of humanity looks like. And it is something that right now we have become so accustomed to not recognizing, because the world is filled with so much hatred and spewing such evil, and it's just not a wonderful place to be right now. So Superman is that film that's gonna, it gives you hope. It gives you so much hope. And this particular version, you know, there's been 11 different films with Superman. right? And everybody has played him from Christopher Reeve to Dean Cain to Brandon Routh, right? But this is the thing. Superman, at his core, like I said, he's somebody that exemplifies hope and represents hope. This particular version is the only version I have seen in my lifetime that harkens back to the origins of what Superman was in the comic strip and in the very first one with Christopher Reeve. The chemistry between David and Rachel is very reminiscent of what goes down between Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. I love them together. That first scene that they have together is fire and sets up their relationship for the rest of the film. Lois Lane is a journalist, but she is not a wallflower. She is not waiting for her man to save the day. She's actually saving the day and saving her man. The scenes with them are endearingly sweet. And there's Black people in the film. Black people in the film, baby. Mr. Terrific, who is played by Eddie, he is getting all the way down, and I love it. Mr. Terrific is unapologetically fantabulous, and like I said, Nathan Fillion is hilarious as the Green Lantern. You guys, you really want to check out Superman, a Warner Brothers joint, in theaters right now. It is so much fun. You will absolutely love it. What am I streaming right now? I am streaming a documentary series called Going, Going, Gone. I'm a big fan of baseball. I'm unapologetic about it. And in this Roku documentary that's it's kind of like part stand-up comic thing and part documentary. So comedian baseball fan Roy Wood Jr., who's down in that right-hand corner with the bat in his hand, he goes on a cross-country journey to trace the evolution of the home run derby. And along the way, he revisits some of the most memorable home runs in baseball history with some of the game's biggest stars. It's shot like it's a series. It looks like it's a documentary series as opposed to like a straight documentary. But if you're a baseball fan, you will love some of the facts that are dropped. You'll love seeing a baseball fan spout these facts through these baseball stars. So again, it's called Going, Going, Gone. You want to check it out when you have a chance. Check out Superman. It is in a theater near you, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nathan Fillion. You also want to check out, and I want to thank Joe Freeman, Luke Grimes, not Emma Stone. I didn't talk to Emma Stone. Luke Grimes, Ben Barnes, and Michael Ward for talking to me. But check out the Instittute, which has Joe and Ben in it. Don't forget Shark Week. Don't forget Jaws at 50, streaming right now on Disney Plus and Hulu. Don't forget to check out Eddington with my boy Michael Ward, Pedro Pascal, Joaquin Phoenix, Emma Stone, Austin Butler. It's in theaters now. Zombies 4 is in theaters now. You don't want to forget that. You really don't want to forget that. And yeah, so when I come back in a couple of weeks, when I come back next week, I'm going to have the entire cast of Washington Black, Sterling K. Brown's new venture, which is going to be streaming on television. So, hey, y'all, that was fast and furious. I know it was, but, you know, a sister trying to get out and have some fun. It's lovely and sunny and warm in California, and I just want to have some fun. So if this is your first time joining me, give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications. Let me make sure nobody else popped in to say hello that I have to address. Nope. Whether you are here in real time or whether you watch me after the fact, please know that I appreciate you. I appreciate every click, every watch, every share, every comment. Thank you so much. And yeah, I will see you next week with Washington Black, and I might have a little surprise for you in the meantime. Okay? All right. So love, peace, and hair grease, and I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.